Have you ever watched a game of bridge? It can feel like you're trying to decipher some kind of secret code, right? All the bidding, the fast-paced play, it's a lot. But what if I told you that underneath all that complexity, there's a really simple, elegant mathematical system? Well, today, we're going to unlock it.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get into the 3 magic numbers that are really the foundation of the whole game. Then we're going to build a super simple dashboard you can use to size up any hand in a heartbeat. After that, we'll use that dashboard to tackle a couple of classic strategic moments, and we'll wrap it all up by digging into the core tension that makes bridge strategy so incredibly cool.
All right, first up, let's crack that secret code. Believe it or not, it all starts with just 3 numbers that pop up again and again in the game's DNA.
Okay, keep these in your head. The first number is 10.
The next one is 13.
And finally, 40. So 10, 13, and 40. They seem totally random, don't they? But these 3 numbers are, and I mean this, the absolute bedrock of all bridge math.
So here's the big reveal. 10, that's the average number of high card points any player is going to have. 13, well, that's the easy one. It's how many cards you're holding. And 40, that's the grand total of all the high card points in the entire deck. Literally, every strategic move flows from these 3 little numbers.
So you see how this all fits together. Your hand has an average of 10 points, out of a total of 40 in the deck. And your job is to use those points to win tricks, out of a total of 13. Getting this simple framework down, that's what takes you from just guessing to actually calculating your moves. It's a game changer. Okay, so we've got our core numbers. Now what? How do we actually use them? Well, we build something I like to call a player's dashboard. It's just 2 simple tools that let you instantly see what you're working with in any hand you're dealt.
The first tool on our dashboard is all about high card points. You can think of this as your power meter. It's just tracking the raw strength of your hand. You know, your aces, your kings, your queens, and hey, look at that. You see our magic numbers? The total for the whole deck is 40, and the average per player is 10. This is all about pure, raw value.
Now, the second tool on our dashboard is the hand pattern resolver, and this has nothing to do with power. This is all about shape. It just tracks how many cards you have in each suit, which, you guessed it, always adds up to 13. This isn't measuring value, it's measuring strategic potential.
Okay, dashboard's ready. Let's take it for a spin. Our first test is going to be one of the absolute biggest decisions in the game. Should you even open the bidding? Well, something called the Rule of 20 gives us the answer.
And the Rule of 20 is so elegant because it uses both of our tools. It doesn't just look at your raw power, your high card points. It also looks at your strategic shape, specifically how long your longest suits are, to help you make the call.
Let's look at a real hand here. So using our dashboard, the first thing we do is measure its power. The south player has exactly 10 high card points, so in terms of just raw power, it's a completely average hand, nothing special.
But remember, raw power is only half the story. Now we look at the shape. And this is where things get interesting. South's hand is unbalanced with 5 hearts and 5 diamonds. See? This is where the strategic potential is hiding.
So here's how we put it all together. The math is super simple. We take those 10 high card points, and then we add the number of cards from the 2 longest suits. So that's 5 plus 5, which gives us another 10. The grand total? A nice, clean 20.
And boom, there's our answer. Because the total hits 20, the rule is crystal clear. Even though this hand has only average points, its strategic shape makes it more than strong enough to open the bidding. The dashboard just gave us the green light.
So that was a decision for one player. But bridge, of course, is a partnership game. So our next example, the 3NT principle, is all about figuring out the combined strength of you and your partner. The 3NT principle is really just a specific message in the game's language. It's how you tell your partner, hey, listen, between the 2 of us, we have a ton of power, somewhere in that 25 to 27 point range, and our hands are both pretty balanced. It's a very, very precise signal. Let's pull up the dashboard again, but this time for the whole partnership. First, let's check the power meter. North has 10 points and South has 15. We add them up, and their combined raw power is 25 high card points. So they meet that first condition. Check. But raw power is not enough for this specific bid. Now we got to look at the shape of both hands. North's is pretty evenly distributed, and so is South's. Neither one has a really long or really short suit. They're both what we call balanced hands, so they meet that second condition too. Check.
So, with 25 combined points and 2 balanced hands, the partnership's dashboard is sending a loud and clear signal. They have exactly what they need to go ahead and confidently make that 3NT bid.
Okay, this brings us to our final big idea where we're going to tie all this together. What we've really been exploring this whole time is the fundamental tension in bridge strategy, this constant tug-of-war between having points and having a good pattern.
I mean, this really sums it all up, doesn't it? On one side of the coin, you've got the raw power you get from your high cards. And on the other side, you have the strategic shape from how your suits are distributed. The best players, they know it's never about just one or the other. It's about both.
And really, the key takeaway here is this. The best strategies, and I'm not just talking about bridge anymore, they don't just rely on pure strength. They rely on the synergy you create between your raw power and the strategic shape of your plan.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. In any situation you face, whether it's a game of cards, a negotiation at work, or even a personal goal, what do you think ultimately matters more? The raw power you happen to be holding, or the strategic shape of your plan? Now we're going to look at a couple ways to fine-tune that opening bid for those times when you need a little more precision.
Think of these as upgrades to the rule of 20. We've got the rule of 22 and the rule of 23. What's new? They add something called quick tricks. These are your surefire guaranteed winners, like having an ace and a king in the same suit. The rule of 22 is kind of your standard, maybe a little more aggressive choice. But if the situation feels risky, you can switch to the rule of 23, which just asks for a little more firepower before you jump in. Okay, but what about this scenario? Pass, 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 and now all eyes are on you. The bidding's about to just die. This is where the rule of 15 comes in. It's a special tool just for this exact moment. It helps you figure out if your hand, even if it feels a little weak, has just enough juice to get the ball rolling and stop the whole hand from being a wash.
All right, we've spent a lot of time on bidding, but bidding is only half the battle, right? What happens when the cards actually hit the table? Now we're going to switch gears and look at some numbers that will guide you through defense and actually playing the hand.
First up is the rule of 11.
Honestly, this one feels like you're cracking a secret code. When your partner makes a standard lead, usually their fourth best card in the suit, you just take the number of that card and subtract it from 11. The answer tells you exactly how many higher cards are out there, split between you, the dummy, and the person playing the hand. It's like getting an instant x-ray of the suit. Super powerful.
The rule of 9 works in a really similar way. Let's say an opponent leads the 5 of a suit. Okay, you do a quick calculation. 9 minus 5 is 4. Just like that, you know for a fact that there are exactly 4 cards higher than a 5 out there spread across the other 3 hands. I mean, knowing that for sure, that is a huge piece of the puzzle.
Now this one, the rule of 7, is for when you're the one playing the hand. It's all about timing. It tells you exactly how many times you should deliberately lose a trick when your opponents are playing their strongest suit. I know, it sounds crazy to lose on purpose, but this hold-up play is brilliant. It can completely mess up their plan, break their communication, and leave them stranded with winning cards they can't even play.
Okay, so we've looked at rules for bidding, rules for playing. Now it's time for the grand finale, the one formula to rule them all. This is a single, elegant way to get a complete picture of your hand's power, bringing everything, both your strong cards and your hand shape, together.
And here it is, the total points formula. It's beautiful in its simplicity. You just take your high card points and you add something called distribution points. Why is this so powerful? Because it finally combines the two things that matter most, the power of your big cards and the power of your hand's shape.
So, what on earth are distribution points? Well, they're bonus points. You get them for having short suits. Like if you only have 1 card in a suit, or even 0 cards, that's a void. And you might think, why is that good? It's amazing, because it means you can use your trump cards to win tricks in that suit, even if your opponents have aces and kings. It's this hidden power that a simple point count just doesn't see. And look at that. This is how it all connects. You've got the rule of 20 to get you started, the rule of 11 for when you're on defense, the total points formula to see the big picture. It's a complete toolkit for you. And what's really cool is that every single one of these rules, these different ways of looking at the game, they all grow out of those 3 simple numbers we talked about at the very beginning.
So the next time you pick up a new hand, I want you to see it differently. It's not just 13 random pieces of cardboard anymore. It's a puzzle. And now you have the numbers, the framework, to solve it. You're not just guessing anymore. You're making smart, calculated, confident moves.
Subscribe our channel for more videos.